Let's say you're a researcher and you want to find out whether a medication for high blood pressure actually works. To do this, you want to use a paired t-test. But what is a paired t-test? How is it calculated? And how are the results interpreted? A paired t-test is a hypothesis test that compares two paired samples. Okay, but what are paired samples? Paired samples are also called dependent samples or repeated measures. A common use case is before and after measurements, for example, measuring blood pressure before and after giving a new medication to the same patients. So for each person, there are two measurements, one before and one after taking the medication. So in our example, we have a paired sample. Okay, but how do we calculate a paired t-test? To calculate a paired t-test, of course, we first need some data. In our case, we get this data from participants who take part in our study. For these participants, we simply measure blood pressure once before taking the medication and once after taking it. So for each patient, we have one value before the treatment and another value after the treatment. But what do we do with the collected data? We would like to know whether the medication has a significant effect. More specifically, we are interested in whether there is a difference in blood pressure before and after taking the medication. So we simply calculate the difference between before and after. If the medication had no effect on blood pressure, we would expect this difference to be 0 on average. The values before and after should be the same. So we calculate the mean of the differences. Now we want to test whether this mean is significantly different from 0. But wait, we forgot something important, the hypotheses. So before we continue with the calculations, what is the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis in the dependent t-test? The null hypothesis is the mean of the differences is 0, so there is no difference between before and after, and the medication has no significant effect on blood pressure. The alternative hypothesis, on the other hand, is the mean of the differences is not 0, so there is a difference between before and after taking the medication, meaning the medication does have a significant effect on blood pressure. Of course, we can also consider so-called directed hypotheses. That means we expect a specific direction of the effect, like an increase or a decrease. Then the alternative hypothesis could be, for example, that the blood pressure is lower after taking the medication than before. But more on this later. Okay, but how does the t-test for paired samples work? We've collected our data. Then we calculated the difference between them, and from those differences, we calculated the mean. Now we want to know if this mean is significantly different from 0. To find this out, we calculate the so-called t-value. The t-value is simply calculated by dividing the mean of the differences we have just calculated by the standard error. What is the standard error? The standard error helps you understand how precise the calculated mean from this sample is. So the standard error is a measure of how reliable or precise your sample mean estimates the true mean. The standard error is calculated by dividing the standard deviation of the data by the square root of the sample size. Okay, let's just calculate the t-value for this example data. We have the before values, the after values, and the difference. To calculate the t-value, we only need the differences. So we can calculate the mean of the data, which is 3. The standard deviation is 4.69, and we have a sample size of 8, so we have values from 8 people. We can now use these values and obtain a t-value of 1.81. Okay, now we can calculate the so-called p-value. The p-value tells us whether we reject the null hypothesis or not. To calculate the p-value, we need two things: the t-value we have just calculated and the degrees of freedom. Our t-value is 1.81 and the degrees of freedom result from the sample size minus 1. So in our case, 8 minus 1 makes 7 degrees of freedom. Using the t-distribution, we then obtain a p-value of 0.11. You will find a link to this page in the video description. Simply put, if the p-value is less than 0.05 or 5%, we reject the null hypothesis. If it's not, we don't. So in this case, we don't reject the null hypothesis. But what does this p-value actually mean? And what exactly does a p-value of 0.11 tell us? We'll go through this and what the assumptions for a t-test actually are in a moment. But first, let's double check our calculation using Data tab. For this, we simply copy our data into this table. If you like, you can load the data with the link in the video description. We want to calculate a hypothesis test, so we click on Hypothesis Test. Now we simply select before and after and click on the t-test for paired samples. Now we get the results. We see here again the null hypothesis. There is no difference in the mean value between the variables before and after, and the alternative hypothesis that there is a difference. Now come the results. Here we see the calculated t-value and the p-value. If you like, you can simply click on Interpretation and your results will be interpreted automatically. We get the same t-value of 1.81 that we calculated by hand. If you like, you can also easily calculate a one-tailed t-test. Simply select the desired alternative hypothesis here. For example, the variable before has larger values than the variable after. But more in this topic later. What exactly does the p-value tell us? The p-value helps us test whether we should reject the null hypothesis. So we start by assuming that the medication has no effect on blood pressure. In other words, that the null hypothesis is true. If we now take a sample from a population where the medication has no effect, the mean difference should actually be 0, but just by chance that usually won't be exactly the case. The p-value tells us how likely it is to get a sample that deviates from 0 as much as or more than our sample does, always assuming the null hypothesis is true. In our case, we have a p-value of 0.11. That means there is an 11% chance of getting a sample with a difference of 3 or more from 0 if the medication actually has no effect. More precisely, what we see on the x-axis here isn't the mean difference, but the t-value. In other words, there is an 11% chance of getting a t-value that deviates from 0 by 1.81 or more if the medication actually has no effect. But when exactly do we reject the null hypothesis? Here it's common to use a significance level of 5%. So if the p-value is less than 0.05, we reject the null hypothesis. Depending on the field of study, a significance level of 1% or even 0.1% is sometimes used instead. We have a p-value of 11%. Since this is greater than 0.05, we don't reject the null hypothesis. So we can't assume that there is a difference. Okay, but what about the assumptions? There are 3 of them. Number 1, 2 paired samples. As the name paired samples t-test suggests, the groups must be dependent, meaning each value in one group must be matched to a value in the other group. Number 2, both variables must be metric. In a paired samples t-test, we calculate the difference between the 2 paired values and then compute the mean. This only makes sense if the values are metric. Metric variables are, for example, a person's blood pressure or body weight. And thirdly, the differences between the paired values are normally distributed. Otherwise, the p-value cannot be interpreted meaningfully. Okay, and now the last point. What is the difference between a two-tailed and a one-tailed t-test? Two-tailed t-test, also called undirected t-test, Here you can ask in general, is there any difference between before and after? You don't know whether blood pressure is rising or falling, you just want to know whether anything has changed at all. The null hypothesis is the mean value of the differences is 0. But what about the one-sided case? Here you have a concrete expectation of the direction in which something should change. For example, I expect a medication to lower blood pressure. That means the null hypothesis says the mean difference is less than or equal to 0, while the alternative says it's greater than 0. Or the other way around, it just depends on which direction you want to test. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.